Alright, so we've made it to Barcelona, Spain, and we are here to catch a cruise ship in a couple of days. And what we're out doing today is just hitting some of the top sites and spending as little money as possible.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in Barcelona and what you can do for free, join us. Welcome to Retire to Rome. I'm LJ.
I'm Russell. We're retired, traveling full time.
On a budget and loving every minute of it.
Most people think you need a big budget to enjoy Barcelona, but today we're proving you can experience this city for $0. We've got one day before our cruise. No tours, no tickets. Let's see if Barcelona is still worth it.
We're starting the day off here at the beautiful Arc de Triomphe, which was built as the main entrance to Barcelona's 1888 World's Fair. Unlike most triumphal arches that celebrate military victories, this one was designed to welcome visitors into the city, making it a pretty fitting place to start exploring Barcelona. This is probably a good spot to remind you that this day is for comfy shoes. Ladies, leave those uncomfortable sandals or flip-flops in the room. You're going to be doing a lot of walking. From the Arc de Triomphe, the wide promenade leads straight to the Parc de la Ciutadella. You've got palm trees, street performers, locals out enjoying the day. It really gives you a feel for Barcelona beyond just the landmarks.
This park is one of Barcelona's most popular green spaces, and it actually has a pretty interesting past. This entire area used to be a massive military fortress built in the 1700s, but today it's been transformed into a place where locals come to relax, walk, and enjoy the outdoors. As you wander through here, you'll find wide shaded paths, a lake where people row boats, and even one of the city's most impressive fountains.
Boy, it's hard to call this just a fountain. This is the Caseta Monumental, also built for the 1888 World's Fair. The design features dramatic sculptures, arches, and a golden chariot at the top, representing the goddess Aurora, symbolizing a new dawn. Even though it sits inside a public park today, it was originally meant to highlight Barcelona's artistic and cultural ambition during a major turning point in the city's history. Next up, the Sagrada Familia, Antoni Gaudi's most famous and ambitious project, and honestly one of the most unique buildings in the world. Construction started back in 1882, and more than 140 years later, it's still not finished. The plan is to complete the main towers this year, 2026, but finishing work will continue several more years. Gaudi took over the design a few years in and completely transformed it into something inspired by nature. So if you look closely, the towers are meant to resemble stone trees reaching into the sky, and the facades are covered in detailed scenes from the Bible, carved almost like a story in stone. If you look closely at the spires, you'll see fruit, plants, and natural forms carved into the stone. Gaudi believed nature was the perfect design, so instead of plain architecture, he turned the entire basilica into something that feels alive. What makes it more interesting is that it's been built generation after generation, meaning today's work is still following Gaudi's original vision as closely as possible. Whether you go inside or just view it from the outside, it's one of those landmarks that really shows how long-term vision can shape a city. And speaking of going inside, a ticket is required and typically sell out months in advance. So make sure and keep that in mind if you're planning a trip to Barcelona. You'll see public water taps and fountains all over Barcelona. Many are safe to drink from, but always check signage first. They're part of the city's setup to help people stay hydrated. Look what Russell's doing for free. He's window shopping. Bless it. Remember us mentioning Gaudi earlier? Well, this is Casa Batlló, one of his most famous and imaginative buildings. It was redesigned by Gaudi in the early 1900s for the Batlló family, and what you see today is completely his reinterpretation of an ordinary residential building into something that looks almost alive. If you look closely at the facade, it's covered in flowing shapes, broken ceramic tiles, and bone-like columns that give it a very organic feel. Gaudi's style here is all about movement and nature. There are no straight lines, everything curves and flows like it's growing. Even though it's now one of Barcelona's most visited landmarks, it was originally just a private home, which makes its design even more impressive. And by the way, this is one of the most famous shopping streets in Barcelona. Even if shopping isn't in the budget, walking and window shopping here is completely free. These two twin fountains were a fun little stop along the way, just outside a subway entrance, and they're another reminder that simple sights can still be memorable and free. One of the best free things to do in the city is simply wander the Gothic district. These narrow streets are full of history, including the Cathedral of Barcelona. It actually dates back to the 1200s and is a great example of classic Gothic architecture with detailed carvings, tall spires, and a really striking facade. This is another place you have to pay to enter, but we think the free views outside were pretty spectacular. If you take a closer look at the main entrance here, the level of detail is incredible. It's one of those entrances where the longer you look, the more details you start to notice. This is the Casa de l'Ardiaca, just steps from Barcelona Cathedral, and it's one of those hidden historical buildings you could easily walk right past. It dates back to medieval times and was later combined with Renaissance elements. So what you're seeing here is actually a mix of different architectural styles layered over centuries. Today it houses the city's historical archive, preserving documents that go back hundreds of years. It's a great example of how much history is tucked into smaller corners of Barcelona, and you also get a great view of the cathedral from upstairs.
Just around the corner is Pont del Bisbee, one of the most photographed spots in the city. This dramatic stone bridge looks medieval, but it was actually built in the 1920s in a neo-Gothic style to match the old streets around it. It connects buildings in the heart of the Gothic quarter, just steps from the stunning Barcelona Cathedral.
Honestly, you could spend a whole day just getting lost in the Gothic quarter. Every street feels like a step back in time. Tiny shops like this candle store that's been around for centuries, hidden courtyards, and little artisan workshops tucked into stone archways. You'll stumble into quiet squares, historic churches, and suddenly open palazzas that feel completely different from the narrow alleys you just walked through. As we said in the beginning, make sure you've got your favorite walking shoes on when you're heading out for the day. We will say that we found Barcelona's public transportation system very easy to understand, clean, and user-friendly. Just like in any big city, make sure to be aware of your surroundings and keep your valuables zipped up and close to you at all times.
Today proved that you don't have to have a big budget to enjoy a big city like Barcelona.
And to me, it's a reminder that it's a great big world out there. Get out there and enjoy it. No matter what your age or your budget, you can find places to go and places to visit.
So if you found anything interesting here in this video, we'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe and like button and follow along with us.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to be taking you along for this cruise, this repositioning cruise that we're getting on tomorrow morning. So please be sure and stay tuned for that. We hope to bring you some interesting stuff for that and possibly show you how not to spend any extra money on a cruise ship, which some people say is virtually impossible, but we're going to try.
We're going to try it, yeah.
As always, we would like to say thank you for joining us. Have a blessed day, and as always, safe travels.